This is Hamparian with the Armenian National Committee of America. I wanted to outline for you the three most urgent priorities for the U.S. government with regard to the crisis in Armenia and Artsakh. These can be summarized in three words: to aid, to engage, and deter. I'll walk through each of these, and then I'll read you a letter that we recently shared with Secretary of State Pompeo on each of these subjects. To aid, to engage, and deter. To aid in the form of a $250 million urgent immediate aid package for Artsakh and Armenia, to be followed by large-scale reconstruction, development, financial stabilization packages to help Armenia deal with the costs, the consequences of Azerbaijan's openly genocidal aggression against the Armenian nation. So the first priority, as I mentioned, is to aid. To aid. We must help Armenia deal with the crisis created by Azerbaijan's aggression, the near-term consequences in the form of humanitarian relief, but also the longer-term consequences in terms of development, in terms of reconstruction, and also financial stabilization. These are urgent priorities. So the first priority is aid. Number two, engage. The United States must urgently re-engage in the OSCE Minsk Group process. The peace deal, the so-called peace deal that was forced upon the Armenian side, was struck with the participation of only one of the three OSCE co-chair countries, Russia in this case. The United States and France not only didn't give their consent, they were not even involved in the process. The United States, through Andrew Schofer, the U.S. representative, the U.S. co-chair to the Minsk Group, Assistant Secretary Rieker, Secretary Pompeo, who is in the region today, they all need to re-engage urgently in that process to revisit, to rewrite the terms, the disastrous timelines imposed upon the Armenian side. So that's number two, to aid first, second, to engage, and third, and this is also critical, is to deter. We are faced now with Azerbaijan building up its armaments along the line of contact, and we understand earlier today that Turkey is doing the same thing on the Armenian border, and also we understand in Nakhichevan as well. So in addition to the providing emergency assistance to Artsakh and Armenia, in addition to re-engaging in the OSCE Minsk Group co-chair process, the United States must and should and will, if we have anything to say about it, deter Turkey and Azerbaijan from renewing their aggression. The ceasefire, the first three ceasefires were respected by Azerbaijan and Turkey for just minutes. This one has lasted days, but there's no guarantee that either Turkey or Azerbaijan will respect the ceasefire a moment, a day, a week longer. So the United States needs to play a critical role, a forceful role in deterring renewed Azerbaijani and Turkish aggression. We covered many of these points in a letter, and I'd like to read you the letter, walk you through this process in the hopes that it will underscore, in the hopes that it will make the case in a compelling and urgent manner why we need your help in reaching out to members of Congress, to the Trump administration, to the incoming Biden administration, and all the other stakeholders who are involved in this process. You can do that through anca.org/OSCE, which covers each of these priorities: the aid, engage, deter. Aid, engage, deter. Those are our priorities. We need a U.S. policy that assists the people of Armenia and Artsakh. We need a U.S. policy that re-engages in the Minsk Group process to revisit and rewrite these disastrous terms and timelines. And third, we need American leadership to deter renewed Turkish and Azerbaijani aggression. So those are our three priorities: to aid, to engage, to deter. To aid, to engage, and deter. So let me read you this letter that we just sent moments ago to Secretary of State Michael Pompeo, who, as I said, is traveling in the region today. Dear Secretary Pompeo, with this letter, Americans of Armenian heritage call upon our government to immediately provide a $250 million emergency humanitarian aid package for Artsakh and Armenia, followed by similarly large-scale, long-term reconstruction, development, and financial stabilization programs aimed at helping the Armenian people address and overcome the dire human, economic, and security impact of Azerbaijan's aggression. We request this assistance parallel to a renewed U.S. engagement as an OSCE Minsk Group co-chair country in revisiting and rewriting the disastrous terms and timelines forced upon Armenians through the openly genocidal attack on the Armenian homeland by Azerbaijan and its Turkish ISIS allies. This deal was struck under extreme duress, without the consent or even the participation of the United States or France, two of the three co-chair countries. As a matter of U.S. policy, we asked the administration to fully and formally recognize the Artsakh Republic's independence on historical grounds, consistent with legal principles and precedent, and most importantly, as a requirement for the very survival of Artsakh, an early cradle of Christianity and an ancient part of the Armenian homeland. This recognition should be supported by an immediate ban on U.S. arms sales to Turkey and Azerbaijan, the suspension of U.S. military assistance to Baku, and full enforcement of Section 907 of the Freedom Support Act, in addition to the application of global magnitsky sanctions against Turkish President Recep Erdogan and Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev. We close the letter with an invitation to engage with the Secretary and his senior staff on this and other pressing priorities. I want to share that letter with you because it underscores each of our three policy priorities at this stage of this terrible crisis. And those are, again, to aid the people of Armenia, to provide desperately needed humanitarian support as the winter arrives, as hundreds of thousands of people are homeless. So aid, number one. Number two, engage. The United States must re-engage in the OSCE Minsk Group process. We have been missing in action for the last 2 months, and that is to the shame of our great nation that we have not been present in this process, as Armenia has been attacked in a genocidal onslaught by two extremely well-armed and hostile neighbors. So the United States must re-engage, even at this late date, to salvage what can be salvaged and to rewrite the terms of this disastrous deal. And third, as has been made clear to us today, with Turkey and Azerbaijan repositioning to relaunch their aggression, the United States must deter Baku and Ankara from renewing their attacks on Armenia and Artsakh. Those are our priorities: to aid, to engage, to deter. To aid, to engage, to deter. You can support each of those priorities by visiting anca.org/OSCE, anca.org/OSCE. It's a link that's included in this video's description, as well as the full text of our recent letter to Secretary Pompeo. Urge each of you who are listening today and all within earshot of the ANCA's message to please take action, to encourage your friends to do so, to share this message, this video with colleagues, with coworkers, with classmates, with Armenians and non-Armenians alike. We need the support of all Americans to aid the people of Armenia, to re-engage in the OSCE Minsk Group peace process, and to deter Turkey and Azerbaijan from renewed aggression against the Armenian homeland. Thank you very much.